Baseball, oh baseball, I can't get enough. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to BarrelUp Podcast. This is your host, John Carlos, and tonight we have a special guest, a female, my first ever interview for a female. We're going to interview Miriam Luz, the very talented Dominican reporter, journalist, and for me, it's an honor to have her on our podcast, on BarrelUp Podcast, as she forms a very special part of this baseball industry of podcasters, journalists who follow the game, who report on the game. And without further ado, I'm going to pass the ball on to Miriam tonight. Miriam, it's a pleasure having you on our podcast, on my podcast. My name is John Carlos, by the way. Thank you for joining us tonight. And the ball is yours.
Thank you so much for your introduction. It means a lot. And yes, definitely a female getting into the sports industry is really hard, but I like what you're doing as well. Your project is very successful and we're here to support each other. So thank you for allowing me to be the first female on your program.
Thank you. No. I want to say thank you for allowing me to have this interview. I know you're busy doing your thing. I've been following you for a little bit and I see that you're passionate just like I am about the game. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Thank you. Yeah, we're both passionate about baseball. We love talking about it. We live, breathe, and eat baseball. So yeah, definitely good to have these conversations.
Of course. Especially, with your platform and all that stuff. So one of the first questions that I want to ask you tonight is going to be, who is Miriam Luz? Where do you come from? What's your background story? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I'm Miriam Luz, but people might not know me. Other people might know me as Miriam Fink because that's my last name is Fink, but I use my middle name for my social media platforms to make myself, I want to brand myself more to the Hispanic community. Okay. So I present myself as Miriam Luz. So my name is Miriam Luz Fink. My dad is Jewish, Israeli, and my mom is Dominican. So yeah, I come from Queens, New York. I'm still a college student. And yeah, I've grown up watching baseball all the time. I wasn't forced to watch baseball. I was always just grown up into it. And it was something that I wanted to do. I played softball when I was little, and I always played with the guys in Dominican Republic.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was something that I always wanted to be around baseball. If it was with women, if it was with men, I always wanted to be surrounded with baseball.
Okay. That's a very nice introduction. But now that obviously we have something in common, which is baseball, who introduced you to the game? Like, how did you get introduced? Obviously, you were playing, like you said, early on in your life, but what did that spark about? How did that come about?
Well, I was always a Mets fan, and I was always a daddy's girl.
I'm a Mets fan as well.
You are coming from the Bronx, you're a Mets fan.
Yes, I am.
You're a rebel in your town.
No. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm a Red Sox fan as well. So
you are.
Yes, that's we'll get to that.
We have something in common.
That's weird in New York.
Yes, exactly. But I was a daddy's girl, and I still am a daddy's girl. But I always wanted to sit down and watch while my dad was eating dinner. I'd love to watch the Mets game, to talk with my dad. My dad would tell me to be quiet because I wouldn't stop talking about baseball when he was eating. He's like, I'm going to turn off the channel if you don't stop talking about baseball. And I just felt that connection with my dad and with those players. I always liked to go to games, and it was never forced. Baseball was never something that was forced. I was like, hey, you have to do this. But it was something that I wanted to grow closer with my dad and wanted that passion to grow for baseball. I wanted to develop a hobby. So I just chose baseball, and I was Dominican too. It was in my blood.
Wow. Yeah. It's interesting. And that's powerful. As you know, that women in the sport of baseball are very scarce. But now with social media and everything that's going on, we do see more women stepping up and actually forming part of, various areas of baseball, whether it be coaching. You see that coach, I have her name here for a second. Give me 1 second. The coach for the Yankees.
Harpoons, yeah.
What's her name? Her name is
Rachel.
Rachel Balkovec.
Yeah,
Something
I
like
think
that, right?
it's Polish, the last name.
Rachel
Yeah.
Balkovec. She's a minor league coach for the Yankees. You have Kim. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I'm not gonna make a
The
fool out of
general
myself.
manager for the Marlins.
Yes. And now, we have people like you that are actually giving a lot to the game. How do you feel with, this new women empowerment, people, women trying to do their best within the game of baseball and actually succeeding at it?
I just feel like it's a movement that's happening. It's something that should have always been there. And being a woman, it just, especially being a minority woman, I
Right.
feel like that's more of something that people would feel better to accomplish that, because it's not easy to get into the business. It's not easy. People will look at my curly hair and be like, hey, I'm not giving you the job because you have curly hair, because you're Hispanic. Or there's sometimes they will give you the job because they have to hire a minority.
Right.
So they have to hire a woman. So it's something that the world has just made a stigma, and women got hired. I'm just very honored to be one of the women that want to get into sports, and eventually I will get a job after college. But just having my social media platform is something that I didn't get it right away. It's something that I had to work for. So just being a minority woman in sports that developed a page, getting 13,000 followers, 12.5K, I think I'm at right now.
God
It's not
bless.
something that you get overnight. So just accomplishing it, and in a language that is my second language. So just doing it. I'm speaking Spanish on my page. I'm a woman of color. I'm Dominican, and it's something that I feel very good about myself, and I feel very good to be a woman in sports.
That's amazing. And that's one of the particular reasons as to why I brought you on, or I tried to. I've been reaching out. I'm like, hey, I'm here. I want to interview you for a while.
Yeah.
No, but I know you're busy and all that stuff.
It's
But
finals week next week.
oh, I remember those. Trust me, I
Yeah, it's
remember
not
those.
easy.
La Ojera, I know how it
Yeah,
is.
I'm getting a little tired too.
So yeah, I see you very involved in Lidom in Dominican Republic, in the professional league out there. How did you get involved? How did that start? And how would you describe your passion for the baseball, obviously outside of the United States, which is really, really big in Dominican Republic?
So it's all about connections. It's all about who you know. So if you need to reach out, talk to people, talk to other journalists, because if you just stick in your circle, you're not going to get a job. You're not going to be liked in the sports industry. So I had an opportunity to get a press pass, and I had the chance to interview Jose Siri, he's a prospect.
Center fielder for the Houston Astros.
For the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
So it was an honor to interview him. I definitely got a lot of feedback from my colleagues, but it definitely gave me more connections and trust. It's all about how you build trust with these people. So you have to build trust with the teams. You have to build trust with individual players, because they're not going to open up to you right away. And it's not the same rules. So in the Lidom, they're not obligated to do interviews with you as you are obligated in the MLB. Right. So there's space for time for interviews, but if a player doesn't want to give you an interview, doesn't want you to interview him in the Lidom, then that's it. You have to just take it as a no. But just having these opportunities, and yeah, I was a little shy, just it was a little bit out of my comfort zone, because it was the first time that I actually got onto a field in a professional I did interviews in minor league, but this was more of a bigger step for me in
Of
another
course.
country. And there was a language barrier as well. So it's in my second language. And just having that there, my page, there was definitely a lot of feedback and they loved it. They loved Jose Siri. Jose Siri is a wonderful guy. He
Yes.
will, if you want an interview, if you want to interview him, he will help you out. And he's just someone that will say yes. He's not afraid to show his story, to tell his story, and just all around great player.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that interview. He did
Thank
win.
you.
Well, he did pass to the playoffs last year with the Houston Astros. So the guy has
Yeah.
been he's been working hard. I know Jose Siri has been trying to make it to the majors ever since he was in the Cincinnati Reds organization. So now to see him and to see you, interview him, that's grandiose. Let me ask you something. You talk, I can tell, with a lot of confidence. Obviously, you're a woman.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Your confidence and the way you deliver your ideas.
I'm very happy that you asked this question because
Okay.
my dad always told me that I lack confidence, that if you that's why my dad always pushed me to give more confidence, because when I was always up to bat or I was always pitching and there was no confidence there, I would always do bad. So that's my tip for everyone that's doing an interview, that's talking, is that you need to talk with confidence, because once you don't, your audience knows that. Your
Yeah.
audience knows that you're not confident and you won't listen to them. So you want to be that person that someone will listen to. And so my dad always drilled confidence in me. And even in my lowest times, you still have to be confident. So
I like that. I like that, especially coming from New York. You have no choice. New York
you
will
have to
make you.
walk confident. You have to, even if you don't look your best, you still have to act confident, because that's
Right.
what attracts people, is confidence.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm glad that was a good question.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I don't really rehearse my interviews. I might write some little things here and there, but I like to, organically go through it, because I'm the type of person that feels that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to baseball. So I'm not shying away from, oh my God, if I have to write something down, but it's like you said, it's about confidence and actually letting the conversation flow.
You
We're going to
just write a
stay.
few notes down there. Like when I do my
Yeah.
interviews, I write a few notes, what I want to touch, or because that's something when you do interviews, you never know if they already answered your question with another question that you asked.
Right.
So if
Right.
you prepare yourself for questions, you can always jot down a few notes of what you want to touch, maybe, where they were born, stuff like that, or their batting statistics, but you just want it to flow, have more confidence. If you're just looking down on a piece of paper, it just throws everything off sometimes.
Hold that thought on batting statistics. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I promise you. And I want to hear your take on a couple of players and in the early season, how they're performing, what your thoughts are. But staying in Lidom, right? This is a very personal question, and I'm hoping you answer it correctly. You have your choice, obviously. Who do you go for, El Licey or Las Águilas?
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. Go ahead.
Mi equipo azul.
I was afraid. I had a thought in my head that you were gonna say something like that, and this interview is over. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm obviously not a Licey fan, but I do respect them. No, I actually interviewed Ronnie Belliard a couple months back, and that was amazing. That was amazing. But I bleed yellow. I'm an Águilas fan. I've always been an Águilas fan, and I would stay there. But you guys have a good team every year.
We always do this when we get a hit. We always do this.
Yeah. Talk to me about some of the Licey players that you've interviewed or had experiences with in the Dominican Republic.
Well, the majority of them well, they're not really known in the big leagues. Denicher Carrasco, he plays for the Atlantic League. Ronnie Mauricio
Ronnie
is
Mauricio
someone
for the
that,
Mets.
yeah, he's
Mhm.
a big prospect for the Mets as well. I've talked to um Yermin Mercedes.
Yep.
He's someone that's big in baseball right now, the big topic of should he stay or should he go?
Right. Right.
But another is Sergio Alcantara,
Ooh, he's doing amazing with the
which is
Arizona
he's doing
Diamondbacks.
amazing. I'm
Yep.
glad that he got the opportunity to get traded from the Cubs
Right.
to the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's just an amazing opportunity for him. He's a utility player. He could play second, shortstop, third base. If put in the outfield, I'm sure he could play outfield as well. But
Right. Right.
I definitely love where the player that he is. And I hope that a team could give him the opportunity to sign a big contract because I believe that he's not getting paid as much as these other major leaguers, and it's hard to sign a contract like that.
Especially now with all the competition that there is, and he's been around the league for various years. It's about time. Now that you mentioned, a player like Sergio Alcantara, right? I saw on your page that you were speaking on a topic, not speaking, or you had mentioned a topic, a very controversial one, as far as players that know what other players are deserving, and fans that and analytics analysis that we do, like
Mhm.
Andujar, Miguel Andujar.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough subject because I, for my page, this is something that if someone's running a social media page, refrain from being very opinionated
Of course.
because the opinions is for they're for the fans. So when I say something, when I post, I just post the information. I just post the information and my caption was Miguel Andujar and the Yankees. I let my audience talk and opinionate.
Yeah.
But my opinion, since this is an interview and I love to share my opinion. And sometimes sharing your opinion can hurt you, but you know.
Hey, as long as you're talking facts and something that it's well known, I don't think it
Yeah.
will, because at the end of the day,
Oh,
a
it's
player like Miguel Andujar, he's in my opinion, he's deserving of either a shot or being traded somewhere else, because
I
every time this
believe that
guy,
he should get traded. And for me, the Yankees organization hasn't been the best organization to give players the opportunity. For example, Albert Abreu. He played for the Yankees and now he got traded to the Texas Rangers.
right?
So he was up and down from AAA to major leagues, and now he has a for sure spot, a reliever. He's a pitching reliever, and now he's staying in the big leagues. They haven't brought him down to AAA.
Mhm.
So just seeing that maybe leaving another team will give you those opportunities for you to play. And I feel that the year, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2020 when he started going downhill.
Mhm.
I think it was like during the pandemic, he just stopped batting. And I feel like that was when you give the opportunity to other people and you open up a position to other people,
Right.
to the players, that's when they're like, do we really need you? So I think it's just other teams need to give Andujar the opportunity, and that's more conversations that the agents need to have, which we're not hearing any of it.
Okay. All right. Another perfect example of a player that, in my opinion, should have been traded and did was what's his name? Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez was
Mhm.
traded to the Minnesota Twins and is on the verge of a very good season. Obviously, the season is um, very premature, but I feel that a player like him, he was very under pressure, not himself. So sometimes, like you said, trades are good, and hopefully
Of course.
everything works out for the best. Okay.
Playing in New York isn't the easiest thing. It's
It's
not
not.
it's not easy. So there was Gary Sanchez didn't have so much chemistry with Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole's our top pitcher. So when Garrett Cole was there, Gary Sanchez couldn't play. So it's all a mental game.
It is.
So it's, why are you not playing me with your best pitcher?
Yes,
Because
exactly.
they're not getting along. Why are they not getting along? So there's so much that we're not seeing, so much that people just tell us, but there's things that we're not seeing. For example, Ozuna and Albies.
Yes.
Was there an altercation? There might have been an altercation before in the clubhouse that led to that altercation on the field. So there's so many things that the MLB shows us that we're not seeing anything behind the scenes. There's definitely things that lead up to trades, attitudes, connections with other players.
Yes, for sure.
So that's what I believe. They're not showing us enough.
There's a lot of things that happen behind closed doors. As for example, last year, Lindor and McNeil, they had a fiasco, because Lindor obviously got the big contract with the Mets. I'm a Met fan. Obviously, I have to speak facts. Lindor got the big contract, and he felt that on a play, I remember, there was a ground ball hit in between second base, like literally in between second base, and Lindor was going after it, and then McNeil snabbed it. So behind closed doors, people don't know, they actually got into an altercation because of that. So there's a lot of emotions going on, egos that we don't see. We see it all nice and dandy in camera, but there's a lot of things that goes on behind closed doors.
Of course.
I'm going to talk to you about, we have literally I'll say 6 minutes left due to the Zoom shortage or whatever. But I'm going to mention some players, and I want to hear your feedback on these players, especially for this year. And we're going to start with Lindor, Francisco Lindor. Last year wasn't his best year, his first year with the Mets, right?
Yeah.
But this year, he is putting up an average of 281, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs in 23 games. Talk to me about what you think has been the difference in Lindor's sophomore year with the Mets.
I just think that you can compare him to Carlos Beltran, and just being on the Mets the first year, he didn't perform that well. And just seeing him get back, and he also compared his career to Carlos Beltran and his first year being on the Mets.
Yeah.
So I believe it's not easy to play in New York. I'm very satisfied with how he's playing. He's being a leader. He's their shortstop, and I can't complain about how he's playing. He knew that the fans were going to have a lot of expectations from him this year, and he is definitely satisfying their needs. And we have one of the best left sides in the league. We have Escobar and we have Lindor. So how much better can you get? There's no Machado or Tatis anymore.
Right. We do have a solid left side, and I was one who I actually made an episode on Lindor last year when he was having the slump. I said, do not panic. Give the kid some time. It's not easy playing in New York. Some people said, oh, but you're being biased. I'm like, no, I'm talking on his past performance that he will eventually bring into the light, and he has. So
he needs to perform. His contract is way too big for him not to perform.
It's a fact.
And he needs to show up to the plate. He's been a leader. He's been on the team. This is his second year. So he's being a leader for someone that's new on the team. He's their shortstop. He communicates a lot on the field. He's someone that the Mets can't live without him.
That's a fact. All props to Lindor in his early performance, and to the Mets in first place, just like the Yankees. So very exciting baseball in New York. Yeah. The Yankees are in first place as well.
Blue Jays are coming up there too. They haven't lost a series. So
yes. Wander Franco. What are your thoughts on Wander Franco? Early in the season, he's batting .313, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs, and 53 at-bats. Sorry, in 83 at-bats. Estoy ciego yo. In 83 at-bats. What do you think about the young Wander Franco?
He's going to be the best shortstop one of the best shortstop there ever was in baseball. He's just performing well. He's only 21 years old, and Fernando Tatis is not in the picture anymore, so that just gives him an opportunity to shine. I definitely think he can be the American League MVP if he continues to bat as he is now, but he's definitely one of the best shortstops. I'm 20, so one of the best shortstops that I've ever seen at such a young age. So he's definitely batting, and he's a switch hitter. So at any moment that you need him to bat, he's definitely going to get you runs in the game.
You're hearing it from Miriam Luz herself. This is live analytics talking and perspective, right? So I appreciate that. It sounds very good what you're saying. Wander Franco to me is.
And one more thing.
Go ahead.
I feel like he signed way too early in his career.
Way too early. Way too early. In my opinion, he is worth $350 million or more because of the 5 tools that he does display thus early in his career. He freaking led the Tampa Bay Rays in the playoffs. He put that team on his shoulders.
Yeah, if I believe that he could have waited maybe 3 more years, we can compare his contract to Judge.
Yes.
So Judge waited. So the thing is that when you wait, your agents have less control and the player has more control of what they want. So just seeing how he's young players could get manipulated on the money, and someone that signed for a huge contract in the Dominican Republic, you've always seen money around you and you don't know your worth yet. At 21 years old, you're not going to know your worth.
Acuna signed a deal for 8 years, $100 million. And Acuna, in my opinion, is by far in the top 5 in the whole outfield of Major League Baseball. He's there.
So we're definitely gonna have to see. I have faith in Acuna and his worth, but after his injury, we're gonna have to see. And he set those expectations of the fans in the front office. But definitely seeing him jumping back from the injury and hitting, and definitely have a lot of expectations from him. But you're right, he definitely signed early. And some of these athletes, they just sign quickly. And you're talking about Jose Ramirez, his contract. And I know someone that interviewed him, and he said that he wasn't really attached to the amount of money that Cleveland was giving him. He just wanted to sign a contract because he doesn't know the value of money and signing a big contract. And of course, he doesn't know what he's worth. He just wanted to sign a contract and know that he was going to be in Cleveland. So it was not, oh, I'm worth this. It was, no, I want to sign. I'm going to take an opportunity with Cleveland, no matter how much they give me. But
wow, that's amazing.
It was going to be a reasonable amount, of course.
Of course. So I have literally less than a minute left with this Zoom session. Last question for you.
Going.
Okay. So let's do this. What we'll do is we'll let this minute pass. I will obviously try to save it, and then we'll go back on for the next 15 minutes because I have some interesting topics.
Sounds good. I'll just pause here, but yeah, we can definitely start a new one of this conversation.
All right, perfect. So we'll be back on.
Thank you.
No problem.